The sun in the Judean wilderness doesn't just shine. It screams. It is a physical weight, a white-hot hammer striking an anvil of limestone and flint. And there, cutting through the jagged desolation of the southern border of Judah, lies the Akrabbim, the ascent of scorpions. This isn't just a geographical marker found in Numbers 34-4 or Joshua 15-3. It is a place of blood, shadows, and the terrifying intersection of the divine and the terrestrial. It's the border of the impossible. Imagine a narrow, winding staircase carved by nature and sharpened by the wind, snaking up a steep limestone cliff. To your left, a drop into a sun-bleached abyss. To your right, a wall of rock that radiates heat like a furnace. This was the boundary line. When Moses described the borders of the promised land, he didn't point to a lush meadow. He pointed to the Scorpion Pass. It was the threshold. To enter the inheritance of God, one had to first survive the gauntlet of the sting. The air at the ascent is never truly still. It hums with the sound of the desert wind, a sound the ancients called the hiss of the seraphs, but beneath that hiss was the scratch of chitin on stone. The pass earned its name for a reason. Thousands of scorpions, black, yellow, and translucent, called these crevices home. In the biblical imagination, the scorpion was more than an insect. It was a symbol of rebellion and spiritual warfare. To walk the pass was to walk through a minefield of living daggers. During the Maccabean revolt, the treacherous terrain of Akrabbim became a stage for a desperate ambush. Judas Maccabeus, they, Hammer, led his weary band of rebels against the Edomites, who had been harassing Israel from the heights of the pass. The Edomite scouts looked down from the jagged peaks, confident that no army could scale the stairway of death under the noon sun. But the Israelites didn't come in the light. They climbed in the suffocating darkness of a moonless night, their hands bleeding from the sharp flint, their ears strained for the sound of a scorpion's tail striking leather. They moved like ghosts through the very terrain meant to destroy them. When the sun rose, the ascent of scorpions became a trap. The oppressors found themselves pinned between the vertical cliffs and the swords of men who feared God more than they feared the sting. The spiritual anatomy of the pass. Why does the Bible mention such a hellish place as a border? Because in the biblical world, territory matters. To reach the land flowing with milk and honey, you had to pass the land of venom and stone. It served as a filter for the faint-hearted. Centuries later, Jesus would tell his disciples, "I have given you authority to trample on snakes and scorpions." Luke 10:19. This wasn't a random metaphor. He was invoking the dread of places like Malahi Akrabbim, reminding them that even the most cursed terrains are under the feet of the faithful. Even today, if you stand at the ruins of the Roman road that later paved this pass, you feel an ancient tension. The silence is heavy. The heat is oppressive. You realize that for the biblical figures, the Scorpion Pass was the ultimate liminal space, the thin line between the wandering of the wilderness and the promise of the home. It remains a monument to the idea that the most beautiful inheritances often require a climb through the most dangerous shadows.